Welcome to another Beacon demonstration video. Today I'll be taking you through our ordering functionality we have in the back office and head office. So 3 scenarios we'll be running through are how to create firstly a purchase order manually through the back office. The second scenario will be how to generate an order. The third scenario will be a goods received of a previously entered order we've entered with the Android PDT. For that one, I recommend checking out the video in the notes below before you watch the second half of this video here. So that being said, in the back office, I'm now going to go to ordering, which I can find under data entry, under ordering, or alternatively, you can also see it under stock and ordering there, same thing. So once we click on it, it loads up on the screen. You can see if there's any outstanding orders already there, like the one there, which we'll run through in our third scenario, it'll come up there. But basically any orders that have been completed will transition from this screen to the Supplier Tax Invoices screen, which we'll run through in another video. So to begin with, I'm going to take you through the adding of the manual order there. So to do that, I'm going to go down to add, down the bottom here. I'm going to specify the supplier I'd like, let's say Gems Distributors, and I'm also now going to add the date, so today's date is fine, and now I'm going to actually specify which items I would like to add to this order. So I'm going to click on add down the bottom left hand corner here, and you can see it comes up with this stock code prompt here. I'm going to nominate, for example, this first item here, Coke Vanilla, no sugar, and I would like to say 24 units of this I would like to order. It does come up and suggest the cost price based on a previous average cost. You can see there, it has the details over on the side here. That's fine. Because I don't have the final invoice yet, I don't know the exact cost prices. So what it's trying to do is suggest a previous cost price entered in, whether it's the average, last, or list price. So that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just accept 24 units on this one. I'm going to hit OK, and you can see the prompt stays on here, so I can add a second item. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick another Coke variety and say, okay, this time it's the other one down there, Coke Orange, and I'm also going to request I'd like 24 units, which is another carton. Okay, same situation. The cost prices are what I recommend from previous. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. So once I'm done with adding the items into the manual order that I'd like, I'm going to cancel this little prompt on the screen here, and you can see it's now automatically calculated the total of what it thinks those line items is. So I can add it, I can add any further text I need to, or any further descriptions up the top, but at this point I'm ready to go ahead and just save this order so far. So I'm going to click on OK down here. It does stay on the screen in case you want to add a second order for a different supplier. I don't want to. I'm just going to press cancel down the bottom right hand corner here. So there you can see the first one was the pre-existing order, which I'll be running through shortly, but this is our order we've just created here. Purchase order number 9 for Gems Distributors for those 2 items. Okay, now I'm going to run you through the second scenario, how to generate an order. So just for context, before we start, I'm going to show you one of the items I'm going to be generating an order for. So Coca-Cola 600ml. So these 4 fields will need to be populated first before you can expect the system to try and generate what it thinks you need. So that being said, I'm going to cancel this screen. I'm going to go back to my ordering, and I'm going to go ahead and try and generate an order for some of the items I think that I need for Gems Distributors. So I'm going to go down to generate. Now you can see when it comes up, it does ask for which supplier. I just want to nominate just Gems Distributors. So I'm just going to pick supplier I want, and then you can see we've got 5 different ordering types, and each of these are sometimes specialized for certain scenarios where you just want to replenish just literally the stock that you have, or just based on the stock that you've sold. But we find that method number 5, the reorder based on usage less excess stock, is the most dynamic because it tries to anticipate not only what stock on hand it thinks it needs to replenish for you, but also what sales you've performed in the last 7 days and what to anticipate in that lead time. So I'm going to recommend always go with number 5 there. Now I've got options there for the order date, that's fine, and also the order period. I'm going to say yes, I would like 7 days worth of the order here. So I'm going to leave that as is. There's also options to override the lead time. So I'm just going to go ahead and see what results it comes up there for me. So once I click OK down the bottom there, it's now going to generate my purchase order for Gems Distributors. Okay, you can see now the last order in the list there, order number 10, which is generated as the status. So let's have a look. So once I double click on it to open it up, you can see it's recommended 2 items there for me to order. And let's go have a look at why. So if I go back to stock maintenance and I bring up the first item, you can see it was originally trying to suggest 48 units for me to replenish. Now, if I look at that item in stock maintenance, it says the minimum holding was 96 units, but because my stock on hand at the moment is 88 units, therefore I'm below the minimum holding. So I need to reorder 48 units. So from there, I always recommend once you generate an order, it's worth just going through and checking, because even though the system is trying to anticipate what it thinks you need, it still needs a real set of eyes to overlook and say, okay, if this is correct, or no, I need to remove it off if you don't think you need to order that item at all. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. I don't need to make any further changes. So I'm happy with my generated order. The third scenario you can see up the top there is a purchase order, which I mentioned we ran through previously in our Android PDT ordering. And if I bring it up, you can see it has specifically pre-filled information such as the date of the order that we did previously, the description, it says ordering from PDT for supplier Metcash, and also the invoice reference field I haven't filled in yet because I haven't got the actual invoice just yet, but that'll be coming in my next video. But you can see it has calculated the total of these line items that I previously did for $90. GST was 0 in this case. You can see the first one in that list there is the John West Naturally Smoked can. If I bring it up, it's just the same information we previously entered in on that PDT for the same units, and that's fine. Same with the next one down. Same thing there. It's exactly the same information I had pre-filled in previously on the PDT before I synchronized it across. So that's perfect. I actually don't need to touch that at all. But if I did need to correct it, I could do it here on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and just press OK. That's fine. The next part of this I'm going to show you is how we goods receive the purchase order, where it goes from this ordering screen to the supplier tax invoices module in Beacon, which we'll also cover in a new video. But as far as the ordering part, let's go ahead and just select our first order we ran through. So this was the manually created one I've got highlighted there. So what I do is once you have created the order, you would click on send down the bottom there to send that off to your supplier. So it does come up and say, do you want to send this order? This process cannot be reversed. I'm happy that I'm going to send this off to my supplier, whether that's over the phone or I'm going to generate an order online and just tell the system I've sent this off. So you see it generates the purchase order like so on the screen, and that's fine. I could actually print this off and I could generate this as a PDF perhaps even and send this off to my supplier, but regardless, however I've sent it off, it's been sent as far as the stock is concerned. So you can see now the status has changed from created to sent, and from there, once the goods eventually arrive in, the goods are received. So what I do is I highlight the same order that I had before and I click on goods received. So it will come up like so, and it just wants me, if I have any further corrections to make, it wants me to make them now before we go ahead and press OK down the bottom. So if I do need to override it, you can see now we have an extra field down the bottom there that says quantity ordered versus quantity received. So let's say perhaps in this scenario, I had one unit that was damaged in the transit, but the remaining 23 units were fine. So let's say I override it, I say 23 units received. Now, as soon as I've done that, you can see a legend has also popped up in the top corner to tell me that when I click off it now, it's color coded that line in orange because the quantity received, 23, is less than the quantity ordered originally, 24. And you can see in brackets it says back order. So what it will attempt to do is it will attempt to back order this one unit that I haven't received that was damaged. The other one you can see is if I was to override it, the next one down, and say I've received perhaps 25 units instead, it goes green to say the quantity received is greater than the actual 24 units I ordered. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and just keep that as 24, but just to show you, that's what we have the different color coding for. I will press OK now to finish off this. So once I go ahead and press OK to that, you can see this now prompt comes up on the screen saying there's an outstanding balance that still needs to be allocated. Do I want to allocate now? I will say yes to that. From there, your purchase order will change from the ordering screen and it will take you to the Supplier Tax Invoices credits, where it wants you to finalize it further and finish it off. We will run through that in our next video about Supplier Tax Invoices, so look out for that one soon. But just as far as our ordering is concerned for this video, that's all we need to have done for the ordering stage. I'll go back and show you again. So same scenario again, we've got the next order which we ran through in our second scenario, generated order. I'm going to go ahead and send it off as well. Say yes, it's been sent. The order generates on the screen there, and then in 3 days time, once the goods have arrived in, I can go ahead and press goods received. Now, if there's no changes, I don't have to override it at all. I can just say, yes, that's fine, and okay to that. And then you can see it's also now taken it from the ordering screen to my Supplier Tax Invoices screen there. And back to our ordering screen again. You can see the third and final order that we had there. That was the one created on the Android PDT. Same situation. Now, in this scenario, I could also just go ahead and skip the send part and I could just go straight to goods received. I don't have to send it, but I will choose to just goods receive it. So I'll select it and go goods received. And in that scenario, I can also say the same thing. I could say perhaps I did get 0 units received despite the 24 that I ordered, and just press OK to that once I'm done, and it comes up with the prompt just like it would. It'll just say, should this transaction appear in the BAS statement? I'm going to say yes to that. That's okay, and you can see all my orders have now gone from the ordering screen, so they're no longer there, but they're now in Supplier Tax Invoices, which I will run through in our next video about Supplier Tax Invoices. But as you can see, that is as simple as how we do 3 different ways of ordering in the Beacon back office. Thanks for watching our video on Beacon's ordering in the back office and head office. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at support@beaconsoftware.com.au.